Hello everybody, I'd like to share how I'm making a custom mash cap. I bought this piece of stainless steel at my recycle yard for $8. First I'm going to cut the sides off so we can get it a little bit smaller in size and to take away the creased bits on the edge of the part. Remember to always use hand, eye, and ear protection when using any kind of power tools. I'm going to speed the video up to move things along for you. Here's our finished cutaway piece. Next I'm going to put the grinding wheel on and take away all the burrs. I'm making a wooden form that's going to be the circular outline of the mash cap. This is going to help me when I'm bending the metal to help it keep its own shape. Here's that form cut out. And on the bottom side, I have beveled the edge to try to get more of a smooth transition. So it's rounded instead of sharp. That helps when you're bending the metal to give it some room to expand. First I'm going to drill a pilot hole. This is approximately the center of the circle. Okay, now I'm going to want to drill a hole in the stainless steel. This will represent the center of our mash cap. I found when starting holes with stainless steel, I sacrifice a few screws and sort of use them as a punch. That helps get that first drill through the stainless steel. Oh. All right, and the drilling procedure begins. What I've learned over the years is to step through your bits, not try to drill it all at once. Here's our first one through. Now that we have one through and the holes created, then it's easier just to go up bit by bit. And here's our final bit. Okay, so now that the hole is there, I'm going to put a 1/4-20 screw through that hole and also through my form. And this is going to represent the half of the outline of the mash cap. I'll put a nut on that to secure it down to the stainless steel piece, and that will give us a form. Okay, so now I'm starting the long process of trying to shape the stainless steel to the form. It is not easy, as I've learned. Best advice is to go slow and make small little increments. Bend a little bit, hit a little bit with the mallet, readjust. Slowly, it will take shape. If I was doing this over, I'd probably get a larger piece of wood so I would have a full circle with my form. As you can see, I have to adjust it here because I only have half the circle, but it worked out. Okay, now that all the banging is through, I'm going to cut off the excess material from the larger piece. And then our cap will start to take shape. And there's our cap with the inner diameter sort of outlined. Grind away on the edges to take the burrs away and get a nice smooth finish. Okay, now we're at the stage where we want to do some fine tuning on our edges. I'm going to approach this by clamping down some wood to keep the piece as flat as possible while I exert the pressure on the edges. This is where having the beveled edge is important, because when we're bending the metal, if it's around a radius, it's less likely to crack. And doing this, you want to make sure you do small movements Don't try to bend it all at once, and just work your way around the circle. This would be much better with more than one clamp. As you can see, I only have one that can reach a little ways into the middle of the piece of stainless steel. You can see the back of it wants to flex a little bit as I put pressure on the front. So optimally, you would have a larger piece of wood with multiple clamps around it to stop the whole unit from flexing. So I'm just going to work my way around the circle, bending and tweaking, small little movements, until the mash cap starts to take shape and look like it's a real thing. So I reached a point where I thought the bending was about as good as it could be, and any further work might warp the part. So the sides are pretty straight. I think it looks pretty good. I do notice that I have a little bit of a concave surface. So when I hold this up here in a second, you can see how the middle kind of is a little bit up. So I'm going to try now to find a way to bring that down to being flat, as we want as much metal in contact with the water with the mash cap. First I tried just hammering it over a bucket, but that did not work very well. Really no way to secure it on the bucket, bouncing around a lot. So then I decided to get a washer. I put it on the screw. Got some other pieces of wood, and I'm going to tighten everything down, and that's going to pull the center of the mash cap lower and hopefully take away some of that convex shape. Okay, here's where I stopped. You can see now the middle of it is actually down a little bit. I didn't want to go too much further. I don't want to warp anything. Okay, so here is the finished product. I added a knob with a hex bolt. You can see our bottom looks fairly flat. Edges are fairly straight. It's kind of impossible to avoid some of the coffee filter look on the sides. Here's the mash cap fitting inside my bottom drain keg, which I have a video of also on my channel, how I made that keg. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. For $8 and $5 for the knob, not bad. So here's some tips. As you can probably see, this is pretty difficult and pretty time consuming, so if you can purchase one, I would buy it. Also, I'd stick with a little thinner material. Mine probably was right on the borderline of being workable or not. Also, just go slow and clamp down your forms.